A very good morning to all the students of class 12th political science. Students, welcome back to the online classes here. And as you know, we had already finished our last chapter which we were doing, and the name of the chapter was planned development according to the new revised syllabus. Otherwise its name used to be politics of planned development, which was chapter number 3rd of your book. So we had finished all the topics of that chapter, and particularly two new topics we had discussed in detail. That was National Development Council, and the other was regarding Niti Aayog. So we had two different videos for this particular topics which we have done properly, and in the last video I had taken a short introduction part of all the important topics relating to that chapter. So today we are starting our next chapter, that is India's foreign policy. Okay, this is the new revised content or the name given to this chapter by the CBSE. Otherwise its name used to be India's external relation. Okay, so you can see the difference in the name, and this chapter used to be chapter number 4 of our book. Okay, but since I told you in the last video also that chapter number 2 of our book, this politics in India since independence, chapter number 2 has been deleted, or some topics of that particular chapter has been merged with chapter number 5 of our book. So chapter number 4 has become chapter number 3. So you can also write here it's chapter number 3, but according to your book, if you will see the contents of your book, the previous book, this is chapter number 4 in your book. So let's find out what is the difference between these two topics according to the new revised syllabus given by CBSE. So previously it was India's external relations, and now it's only about India's foreign policy. So the topics which we are going to cover in this particular chapter, that is chapter number 3rd, or according to book this is chapter number 4. So the topics which we are going to cover under this particular chapter are: first we will take principles of foreign policy. We will see all the basic features of a foreign policy of a country like India. So what are the all basic features, where we will try and understand the basic structure of foreign policy. We will not directly discuss that what was the foreign policy of India, but before that we will understand and make a base for this chapter, that how the foreign policies are driven out and what are the factors important when we are driving out or constructing a foreign policy for a particular country. Okay, so what are the factors which are important, and all the elements we are going to discuss before we discuss the foreign policy of India. So we'll try and understand the base of foreign policy first of all under this principles of foreign policy. Second is relations with other nations. So these topics have been added up now, and why they have been added, as according to the new revised syllabus these topics are updated, as we were having the older book in which these new foreign policies or the countries, the India's relation with US, Russia, China, Israel, these were not the part of your older book, but now they have been updated and the new content has been added to the Indian foreign policy. So this would be good for your general knowledge as well. So all the new topics have been put up for you so that you can have a complete understanding of this concept of foreign policy properly. So relations with other nations, we will study with US relationship with India, Russia's relationship with India, China was already there, but we will do it properly. And new is Israel. This is also a new country where we will see the India's relationship with Israel. So, and the next topic of this particular chapter would be India's nuclear program. It was discussed, India's nuclear program, but now we'll see some updates have been made to this topic also. So it is all about updates. So all the new revised syllabus, many new updates have been put up in your syllabus, which would be good for your general knowledge as well. So now if you look at now here topics which have been deleted, and page number I have mentioned here, page number 74, 75, 76, 77. These topics on page, these 4 pages have been deleted because they were in relation to India Pakistan relation, India Bangladesh relation, or they were related to India Myanmar relation or India and Nepal relation. So all these topics we have already covered. Some part or important part of these relation have been covered in the first book when we were doing contemporary South Asia. So contemporary South Asia, in that chapter we have discussed about these relationships already. So it has been deleted from here. So you don't have to read these particular topics on these pages. So now let's start the topic. The very first topic which is given in your NCERT book is the international context in relation to India's foreign policy. So here we will try and understand what do we understand by foreign policy and what are the importance of external and internal factors in driving out a good foreign policy, a balanced foreign policy. So before we understand what were the international context or what were the India's foreign policy or what were the domestic context in relation to foreign policy, let's see the basic and important definition of what is a foreign policy. So this is a small definition, but if we see to its meaning, it has a broad meaning, and you have to be very understanding to understand this particular concept. See, it reflects the interest of nation and interplay of domestic and international factors. If I give you foreign policy of any country, suppose if I show you the foreign policy of Russia or of US, while reading those foreign policies, different provisions and articles you will read under those foreign policies, the relation of those countries with the outside world, you will come to know that what are their interests of a whole nation. I'm not talking about the interest of a particular party, particular community, or a group or an individual. Foreign policy is all about the interest of the nation as a whole. What is the most important things, factors which are relevant and of importance of nation's interest. So all the things which are in the foreign policy, it will automatically reflect the interest of a nation. And also when we are constructing a foreign policy, there is an interplay of domestic and external factors. At particular time, at the prevailing time, what is the domestic and external or the international factors or the conditions in the world that plays a very important role in driving any foreign policy. Driving out any foreign policy, you will have to see what is the domestic condition of our country and what are the external factors or at the international level. So including both of them, we will accordingly make our foreign policy. So both these factors play the most important role, but the common thing is that whatever conclusion will be made out from external factors and domestic factor, it will be only related to interest of nation. The good thing which is good for you here is you will find most of the content which I am teaching you, you can relate these contents with the book number 1 which we have already covered, contemporary world politics. Many of the things you will find relevant to those topics, like we were reading about Cold War and situations after the World War II and US hegemony, and many chapters we have done. So you will find all that here also. And also we have done 2 chapters of our second book. So of that also you will find many important factors and relevance in this chapter. So if I tell you India was born in very tiring situations, so in this I am pointing out we have done the first challenge, that was the challenges of nation building, in which we have read about the conditions and situations of India just after independence. Immediately what were the basic 3 challenges which India faced as an independent nation. So once India was born in a very tiring situation, we are using this word tiring, it means very difficult situations. So when India was born means we got independence in 1947, 15th August 1947. At that time the atmosphere, there was unrest all over the country. Or if I talk about the international context, the Second World War has just ended and there was destruction all over the world, and all the countries around the world was trying to reconstruct their economic structure on which the countries were based. So that's why it's written here, India was born in a very tiring situation. So we are seeing now the conditions or the backdrop of the Second World War when India was born. and according to which we have driven out and constructed our foreign policies. So all these factors of international as well as domestic factors or the condition within our country are very important in relevance to foreign policy of India. So that is why we are discussing what were the conditions and what were the situation of the world at the time India got independence. The first, it was when India got independence, it was the time when World War II has ended, and all the countries around the world which were majorly damaged were trying to reconstruct their economic structure. Second, just after World War, you have already read in the first chapter of your first part, that is book 1, Cold War alliance tension. Here, just after independence, there was a situation of Cold War where there were two camps, that is US and other was led by USSR. One followed the ideology of capitalism, other followed the ideology of socialism and communalism. So here the countries around the world and newly decolonized countries were divided into those two camps. Okay, that's why it's written here alliance tension. Here each country had to decide whether they have to join US alliance or they have to join USSR alliance. So this was the tension. Although here India did not join any of the two camps, India made a separate organization, that was non-aligned movement. Okay, so the next thing was decolonized countries emerged. At this time, after the Second World War, it was the situation where there was decolonization of countries. Decolonized means previously we were the colony of the British. In the same way, many in Asia, Africa and Latin America, there were many smaller countries which were colonized by the British powers, France, Portuguese, etc. So after the Second World War, all these colonies got freedom and they were independent states. So this was a time when it was decolonized countries emerged. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and these are the topics which are of relevance of external factor in relation to foreign policy of India. If I was constructing the foreign policy of India, I would have focused on these points which were of external factors outside India. This was the situation and condition prevailing in the world after the Second World War. So observing all this situation, accordingly I had to maintain my relationship with the other countries, and accordingly I had to plan my foreign policy. So these were the external factors. In the same way, I will see the domestic factors, which were the internal problems and disturbances within the country after the partition or after we got the independence. So now coming up to the internal, or we can also call them domestic factor. Those were the external factors just after independence, and after independence these were the internal problems within our country, that is India. So the very first question which arises, what were the twin challenges faced at the time of independence? What were the two important challenges which India has to face just after independence? And the answer to this is twin challenges of welfare and democracy. Welfare in terms of economic, social, political, cultural, and we were so disturbed and we had no resources, and Britishers had exploited us in such a way that after they left us, we were independent, but we were in a very poor situation. We were encircled by the poverty, where there was a very urgent need for the welfare of the state as a whole. And also the second challenge was to establish democracy, to have elections with the universal adult franchise. These were the two basic important challenges just after independence which India had to face. Welfare, as we know, India was exploited badly. We had no economic resources to support our population. British government, and these are the internal problems. This was the first problem of welfare and democracy. Just after independence, we had to focus on these problems. Then British government legacy of international disputes. Now after the Britishers had left, but they had the legacy, they had many international relations and international disputes and international policies, treaties, which was a legacy, and we had to accept these international disputes and legacies, and which we have been following. So this was all done by the Britishers. And like Partition we have done already in detail. You know everything about partition. So the problem and consequences of partitions we have read. So this was also a challenging situation just after independence for India. So these are the circumstances and features, I can say, of the our country just after independence, and accordingly by closely watching and deeply understanding the domestic factors, that are the internal factors, as well as the external factors we have already done at the international level, we had to bring out our foreign policy. Socio-economic development, this was a big problem, as I read in here. Welfare. So all these problems which I have discussed, I've written them in a short note type. You can understand them easily. International, this was, we can also say external, and national level we can call them internal. So we are using a word here, context. So what were the international context and what were the national context according to which we had to frame our foreign policy. So at international context, that is external, there were the problems. If we see just current scenario of the world at that time, was the World War II has ended at that time. Formation of United Nations, there was a formation of United Nations. Emergence of two power blocks, as I told you, during the Cold War that started after Second World War. Two groups were US and USSR. They were the superpowers. End of colonialism, as I told you, many countries, smaller countries which were the colonies of British, France or Portuguese, like Asian countries, African countries, Latin American countries, now they got the independence, and it was the end of colonialism now after the Second World War. Birth of news, because of this end of colonialism there was birth of new smaller nations, and one out of them was India. So India was facing all these challenges at the international level, or we can say at the external level, just after independence, and in the same way India was facing these internal contexts or internal factors at the national level, or internal, we can call it internal level. Partition of our country we have already done. This was a problem and the challenges which India has to face immediately after independence. There were communal violence. Communal violence means there were religious groups were made. There were various areas. Communal violence were at peak after the independence. So this created a unrest situation, and there was a lot of violence, killings of people. Legacy of international disputes, as I told you, Britishers went, but they had many international disputes, international treaties, organizations which India had to face these problems after Britishers had went, like we can say boundary issues with China, Pakistan or other countries, neighboring countries. So all these issues which were brought up by the Britishers once they went back and they left India, but after that India had to face all those challenges. Task of poverty alleviation. This was the challenge in front of India, to how our population can come out after out of the cycle of the poverty. This was a big challenge, which where we needed a lot of welfare at that particular time. So if I say about the what is the common thing, if I talk about international as well as national context, or I can say external or internal context, one thing is common here, that is national interest. Okay, this is a common factor. Okay, so national interest is the common factor for any foreign policy. Okay, because when we look at any of the foreign policies, the common thing which you will find is the national interest. Anything which is of national interest, you will find it in the foreign policy of any country. Okay, so now coming up to the next topic, was aim of foreign policy of India. What was the aim of the foreign policy of India? Once we have seen all the international and the national context according to which we had to frame our foreign policy, seeing all the prevalent situation around the world and within our country, we had decided to frame our foreign policy. But what was the aim of the foreign policy of India? So the aim was respect sovereignty of all nations and achieve security by peace. We had to respect the sovereignty. You know the meaning of sovereignty, when we are free from the rule or the power of outside world. Okay, we could take our own decisions, we could rule our own government, we could make our own constitution. So we were sovereign country, and this sovereignty was really hard earned after a long freedom battle against British. So we understood the meaning and importance of democracy, sovereignty, okay, so freedom, equality. So we also decided, and in the aim of, it was the aim of our foreign policy, that we are going to respect sovereignty of all nations. We will respect all the nations, their sovereignty, and achieve security. Of course, we will achieve security that in future no other country can make us the colony again. But this security, the meaning of security, I told you, when our nation is free from any threat. So we have to achieve the security, but by the means of peace. So this was a very important word. This word reflected the Indian foreign policy, where India always looked to maintain peace within the countries or between the countries. Even India tried to maintain peace and reduce conflicts and disputes between the two superpowers, that is US and USSR, during the Cold War, as it was a member or founding member of non-aligned movement. So in relation to the aim of foreign policy, you will find on page number 66 of your NCERT book, there is a small box given, and in that box there is, according to the directive principles of state policy, it has been explained the aim of foreign policy. So according to the directive principles of state policy, so you will find from 37 to 51. These are the articles which come under directive principles of state policy, which you have read in class 11th. Okay, so in this directive principles of state policy 51 article, we are talking of the foreign policy of India. So what it says, let's see it. So article 51 of the constitution lays down the directives related to the maintenance of international peace. So whatever is written in the article 51, it is in relation to the maintaining of international peace and security, and making peaceful relationships with the neighboring country as well as outside world. So this article 51 shows that the aim of foreign policy of India is to maintain international peace and security, which is generally looked upon as the aim of India's foreign policy. So it is mostly looked upon that this is the aim of the Indian foreign policy. So this is a general aspect, so that what it explains, but what exactly is written in that particular article, let's see here. Promote, these 4 points are written in that box of your book, page number 66, you can check it. Promote international peace and security. Okay, India will always work to maintain and bring peace and security to the world. Anyhow, maintain just and honorable relations with the nation. It is going to respect, as I told you, the sovereignty of each and every nation around it, in whichever contact it comes with. Foster respect for international law. It is going to respect all the international laws which are made for all the countries, all the treaties. It is going to respect such things at the international level. It will encourage settlement of international disputes by arbitration. International disputes by arbitration. So it will try and encourage the settlements and the disputes and problems between various countries around the world, so that the problem can have a solution with the discussion on bringing up some solution to the conflicts between the states. So this was the foreign policy. If you see the foreign policy or the aim of the foreign policy, this is not the foreign policy, these are the aim of the foreign policies of India. You will see it is not aggressive at all. It is not talking about the war, or it is not saying that if anyone attacks India, India is going to be strict about it, it is going to be attack the other country. But no, India has tried to achieve security by peace. It will only use arms for its defense. It will never be the first one to attack any other country. So here we can say it is very lenient in its approach of aim of foreign policy. Okay, and so this is the end of this particular video. So you need to read it once again, and in the next video we are going to discuss the India's foreign policy in relation to non-aligned movement, and in Nehru's role, which we will try and understand in that particular topic. Till then, thank you.